Well, Barack Obama will welcome two men to an unusual White House meeting tonight, dubbed the Summit of the Suds. It's aimed at cooling racial tensions. And it all started with the arrest of Harvard professor Henry Gates in his own home. He had forced his way inside when his front door jammed, but a neighbor misunderstood what was happening and called 911 to report a burglary. Police Sergeant Jim Crowley arrested Gates for disorderly conduct. That charge was later dropped, but accusations of racism lingered, and Obama stirred the pot when he said police had acted stupidly. He retracted that and invited both men to the White House for a beer. Well, Solon Simmons is a professor of conflict analysis and resolution at George Mason University. He joins us now in Washington. So, we've heard Barack Obama say he is hoping this will be a teachable moment, Solon. The way he's choosing to deal with those, through inviting the two men over for a beer, you're an expert in conflict resolution. What's his style? What's his approach about this say?
Well, people have often said that Barack Obama is one of the most conflict resolution friendly presidents we've ever had. And the reason is that his strategy is to lean into a problem where you have a deep divide and to try to bring parties together in dialogue. There's no deeper divide in the United States, in the history of the United States, than that around race. And so this has triggered this event in a way that we haven't seen in a long time. The issue of the beer summit comes about because of the people that Barack Obama is afraid to lose, namely white working class voters who find people like Sarah Palin appealing. And the question, this was an event derived from a survey question, which was, who would you rather have a beer with? And the white working class often said George Bush versus John Kerry, and so the Democrats are afraid of losing them. That is important because although Barack Obama would like to downplay this event as not important, in fact, it may be one of the most important political events of the year, even with respect to the stimulus and health care, because it touches on race itself and the tension between the races. And that tension is real. It goes back throughout the history of the United States for generations, in fact centuries. And this event crystallizes, and everyone can understand it because it's very concrete. One doesn't need to be an economist to get what happened in this circumstance. And as more events come out, more and more Americans pay attention, 79% of whom are paying attention right now. Yeah, very interesting. I mean, I heard what you said in terms of politically, it's a smart way to reach out to those voters that perhaps many would say Obama needs to. But, I mean, it's not out of character. This is very much in keeping with the history of Barack Obama and his community outreach, the way he's able to bring people together. Again, as you say, by leaning in and grabbing a hold of both sides and trying to work together, right? Absolutely, and I think that he has to hope that this will work. I think many people have accused this of being merely a PR stunt, but in fact these things are important because it's a signal of where his heart is, what he would like to do, what his intentions are with respect to this issue, and because of his role in it, he has work to make up, because many people are now afraid that not only is he not impartial, of course he's involved in this conflict in a way that others wouldn't be, but that he's been unfair. So he needs to come out of that unfairness. And the problem we have with race, and why this issue, we haven't gotten to the root causes, is that we have what I call a balance of trauma here, where both whites and blacks have been traumatized by this history. We don't know how to get out of it. We don't know how to talk our way out of it. And the trauma comes from one group of people trying to preserve their dignity, and those attempts make the other afraid. So white people find themselves afraid, and they don't know why, and it may be illegitimate for them to be afraid, but they are, and they overreact in circumstances, not to say this woman did in this case, but the officer maybe did. There's overreaction, and the other side feels humiliated and acts out in ways which are meant to say, pay attention to what you ought to do to respect me. This is not appropriate. So both sides are in a kind of balance, not of power, but of trauma that plays itself out in what will be a variety of these kinds of contexts until we get at that root cause.
But is this also the message that sends out to the average, American, that if there is an issue, if you're not sure about your neighbor, or there are tensions, that all we need to do, you called it trauma, fear, whatever it is, that you just need to sit down and talk and pare it down to that level, right?
I hope so. I mean, I think that that's one of the things that the president can do, but the issue of race tension in this country is bigger than the president himself. And so what I think is that we're going to see this unfolding. I think that these little moments of calmness are what we're hoping, always hope that Barack Obama would be able to bring to this. He has a unique vision. He has a unique way of speaking about race. I think we're getting ready for another race speech down the line here, as much as he might want to turn our attention toward other affairs in the world.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes and how tonight's event wraps up. Solon Simmons with George Mason University joining us. Thanks so much.
Thank you.